Now, reports of child defilement in Wajir County have been on the rise in the past few years. While some victims are able to overcome the trauma, most of them are haunted by those events for the rest of their life. Tonight, KTN News Hamza Yusuf brings you the heartbreaking story of 10-year-old Rodha.
From a distance, she appears to be a child living another ordinary day in Wajir. But for this 10-year-old girl, life has been far from ordinary. When she was 6 years old, she was defiled by a 52-year-old man, a close neighbor. Will conceal her identity and refer her as Rodha, not her real name. The wounds are still too raw. It's not a story that she's ready to tell. Her older sister lingers around with a protective glare. The girls were out playing that day when the rapists attacked Rodha, forcing her sister to watch silently and then fleeing. The little girl left unconscious on the ground.
I received the news while grazing my sheep and hurriedly rushed home and found my daughter bleeding furiously. The man who committed the act had already disappeared. We rushed out to hospital for treatment.
Akasema huyu msichana wacha kwanza waangalie. Msichana kuangalia huko sehemu za siri zote imefura, imenuka. Hata tangu huyu mtu alifanyia yeye repi hata kuna mtu alimosha. Sasa babake hakuna mwanamke, hakuna msichana hajui kumosha. Basi sasa ndio sisi tumepeleka hospitali msichana kuangaliwa namna hii, hata daktari ametoa machozi.
That was 4 years ago. The perpetrator offered to settle the case by masla, the infamous Somali tradition where abusers pay fines to their victims' family members. But Rodha's father declined the 20 goats and 20 cows offered for his forgiveness. The rapist was jailed for 50 years and Rodha's family retreated into their own prison.
Sheria iko na nguvu. Utamaduni pia, kwa sababu hii ni jamii bado imeshikilia utamaduni wao. Pia maneno kama maslaha bado yako na nguvu kidogo.
Sasa watu wamegoba tangu siku hiyo. Lakini juzi tulikuwa tumeletewa jaji mzuri ya kuangalia, akisikia tu hiyo mambo, huyo mtu anakaa ndani, ataosia ndani. Huyo mtu amechukuliwa. Unajua Wajir, watu wa Somali wanafundisha mtu, huyo mtu hakuwa anachukua hata rushwa, alikuwa hachukui. Wewe ukiwa umesimama kwa haki, atakutendea kwa hiyo haki yako. Ikiwa wewe mtu akaona kona, anakuweka ndani. Lakini sasa huyo mtu atakukaa hata mwaka moja, alikaa kama miezi sita hivi ameenda.
This is where they call home, away from the rest of the community. The family faces stigma in a society where victims are shunned even more than the perpetrators. It is dusk. Rodha's father performs his daily routine. Her mother suffered a mental breakdown from a trauma of the defilement. So dad is all they have now.
I had to sell 45 goats and a camel in order to have my daughter receive treatment. I tried all the means to have her treated, but up to now the expense is too much for me. I believe that one day God will restore her health to how she used to live before.
He lays in a thin canvas on the ground in the forest. This has been Rodha's bed for the last 4 years. It was Rodha's decision to move to the forest in Mokoror, several kilometers from Wajir town.
What that means then, it means every time she gets a clue to remember, a cue to remember the experience, what we call re-experiencing occurs. She starts feeling anxious and stressed like she's experiencing the event. She has also what we call hyperarousal. that she's constantly not settled.
Hana kitu ya kulalia, watoto ndio hawa hawana mama, hana makao. Hata sasa kama angekuwa na makao, angeishi ndani ya town, alafu akipata nyumba ya kuishi, alafu ile wafanyakazi wanaona wanachunga mbuzi, angeweka kwa hiyo mbuzi yake, akae town, apeleke watoto yake shule. Lakini sasa ile kitu inamfanya akae msituni, ya ajili hana makao. Sasa analala hii miti, ndio anafikiria kama nyumba.
But life is not easy in the forest. They have no house, no food, and few items of clothing. On the good days, the father will bring leftovers from the hotel after a long trek. Other days, he is forced to beg from the market traders. Rodha is yet to receive proper medical care. She has no proper diet and is unable to attend school. With so many cases of a child defilement going unreported in Wajir County, Rodha is a heroic voice for those who have been forced into silence, an act of heroism that she is paying a big price for. Hamza Yusuf, KTN News, in the county of Wajir.